we still have actually. There's some more events going on this weekend, so it's never seems to be a dull moment. I've noticed kind of just looking through and seeing the feedback and stuff on the show. I noticed that a lot of people do like the UFC portion, so we figure we hammer it. We have a free one this week. I guess it's not necessarily free. If you have ESPN Plus, it's free.
Yeah.
But we have a great UFC Vegas 49. You have Islam Makhachev. He's 21-1 with 10 submissions. So this guy, I believe he is out of Russia. He's a super great grappler, great ground and pound. 21-1. Definitely has some experience. I did see a clip of him today working with Khabib Nurmagomedov, that's always a good sign when you're when you're training with someone who's 29-0. So unbelievable. He's fighting Bobby Green. Bobby Green's a great story. This guy fought 14 days ago. The guy who was slated to fight Makhachev got injured in training. Bobby Green said, "Yeah, I just beat the shit out of somebody, but I'll drop 15, 20 pounds to come fight this guy who's only got one loss. Why not?
Trying to do it.
I'm trying to get on a main event fight, so this is how I'm going to get Dana's attention." But Bobby Green's 29-12, so he's not lacking experience in the cage at all, and he has a half-inch reach advantage. So not really anything substantial on the reach advantage there, but like I said, he's fresh out of battle. He didn't take much damage, so that's obviously why he could do this.
Yeah.
So
29 wins is still nothing to...
Oh yeah, he's been in the octagon more than 40 times, so that's huge.
Yeah.
And they are going to be at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. That's where all of these UFC Fight Night cards are. The main card starts at 7 p.m. Prelims start at 4 p.m. So tune into that. The matchmakers have been doing a great job in the UFC. I mean, they've really been putting together some wars on the women's and the men's side. So I've been super pleased to watch those on Saturday nights. From a betting standpoint, there really wasn't much options available. You could just pick the fight, but Makhachev is minus 850 favorite, so you'd have to lay like an astronomical amount of juice on that to make that make any sense. But stay tuned as the fight gets closer. They may add some props. I would look at my pick if they give us the option. I would take Makhachev by submission. It probably might be only like plus 110 or something, but it's still plus money.
Yep.
And I think that'd be your safe bet. I really think he'll come out and capitalize on just the fact that he's way more technically sound than Bobby Green.
So a flyer on Bobby Green plus 850. I don't know what the plus is. It's probably not 850, but whatever his number is.
It's plus significant.
There you go. Yeah.
Throw it on. I mean, he's a warrior.
I don't know anything about UFC.
He's got super heavy hands, so if he catches Makhachev, he could certainly it could be night lights out. So super excited for that. Like I said, I've been really tapping into my UFC bag, so I'm all in on it. It's a great thing to have these weekly fights, and please stay tuned for the pay-per-view ones. I will certainly up the intensity a little bit.
With the betting you were just talking about, a lot of it's not up yet, but for most of our shows, it might be by that point because the bigger ones, it might be by that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
For this one particular,
Yeah, for this one, they don't have any early props, but for the big ones, they certainly do. Super boost and all those things, so stay tuned.
So moving on, also going on, it happened last weekend, but we'll talk about what's going on this week. Last weekend in golf, the Genesis Open, we had, what was his name?
Joaquin Niemann.
Joaquin. I couldn't think of his first name. Joaquin.
The only reason it stuck with me is because of Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
PGA Tour's in the thick of it.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
I was about to say, we're actually only a couple weeks away from all of the big tournaments starting to kick off and whatnot. So, I didn't watch much of this one, but
I followed along.
I did follow along. I didn't watch a whole lot of it.
Yeah, he's 23 years old from Chile, so he definitely wasn't he wasn't expected. He took it at 19 under. So
yeah.
I think he was as high as 21 under at one point in time. Then he lost 2 strokes on the back 9 in the 4th round.
Yeah.
But he was. He was.
I was gonna say because I
very
can remember
impressive.
every time I looked up, he was up by a couple of strokes, more than what he won by. So that does make sense.
He's currently ranked 32nd in the PGA Tour. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he'll crack top 30 now.
Yeah, he'll definitely move up because of that one.
Yeah.
How about Colin? A good showing for the weekend.
Yeah, Mark Howell, he's number 2 overall, only to John Rahm. So he's setting himself up well for the run at the PGA and the Masters and stuff. These are all tune-up.
Well, I was going to say,
tournaments.
and here's the thing: you said we're in the thick of it. This week, you got the Honda Classic.
Yep.
Honda Classic actually used to be a fairly significant tournament, but not a lot of the big players playing in it.
Yeah, as I was going through the field, there was a lot of guys who were in the top half of the leaderboard this past week that actually aren't going to be golfing this week.
And I think the Honda Classic used to not be back to back with the tournament, so it makes sense that
that makes sense.
this year. But it's in Florida,
Palm Beach.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, $8 million purse, big purse for you or I, but not a huge purse for the PGA. That also might be the reason that a lot of them are.
Yeah, last week was 12 mil.
There you go. That's it. That's a really good example of the difference. The favorite,
Sanjay Eam. He's plus 1,300. So there, that just goes to show you Vegas is
not even sure.
Not sure.
Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah,
he finished 32nd last week. But he is a consistent golfer.
Yeah.
Just kind of looking at his backstory, he has 5 top 10s in 2020. Masters runner-up last year, and he's made the cut 83% of the time that he started. So that's huge.
That's an insane number.
That's an insane number. Yeah, because I think I was looking up Brooks and Brooks Koepka, Patrick Reed. Those guys didn't make the cut this past week. So just 83% of your starts, and he has 35 starts. So that's definitely
he's put enough tournaments under him for that to be a pretty significant percentage.
Surely. Obviously we love our bets. We love making money.
Yeah.
So always want to highlight the best value. I would say the best value. There's not really much value on the board, so I did have to scrape the bottom of the barrel for this. But tapping into Joaquin Niemann again, and I know it's very rare to see someone win back-to-back weeks in the tour, but like I said, the field's down. He won last week. He finished 6th in the Farmers Insurance Open earlier this year in January as well. So he's been up there. He knows what pressure golf is. So I would say if you're not going to take the favorite, Joaquin Niemann.
I like the idea of riding the hot hand.
Yeah.
Also coming up this weekend, and I should have did the research on this one. I know there's an Xfinity race. I'm not 100% sure if there's a truck race or not. But NASCAR.
There is an Xfinity race. It's the 300.
Yeah. Okay. I knew that I was gonna say. I knew that was gonna. They have one on Saturday.
Yep.
But the first I want to get into the 500 real fast. Austin Cindric. I mean.
I didn't know the name.
Listen, I knew his name because I do watch ARCA and then the truck and then the Xfinity. So I knew him because he went up through that ladder. Mm-hmm. But I mean, at the end of the day, he did something that like Trevor Bayne, another guy that he was a rookie that won the 500. That's just such. It just doesn't happen a lot. Awesome. What a great way for him to start his career in NASCAR as well. He's driving the 2-car, which. I know that you know enough about NASCAR back in the day. The 2-car was a significant. Rusty Wallace was right, and then it was a big deal when Kurt Busch took it over, and then Brad Keselowski ran the 2-car forever after that. So the 2-car has been for Penske kind of a staple almost. So for him to get a win, one to get that ride, and then to get a win in that ride the first time you're in it, really big deal. Had his guy Blaney, which is his teammate, pushing him in the 12, but. I won't go over the whole race, but the final lap was awesome in the sense of and Ryan Blaney said this, and I think this is the best way to describe the whole thing. Once he knew that it was either going to be him or his teammate, and he didn't say this out loud, but I'll say it, or his best friend Bubba Wallace, who isn't on their team, because Bubba was on the inside. Once he knew one of those 3 were going to win, he said that about him and his teammate, but once he knew that's when he made his move. And I went up watching the last lap replayed. He was perfect timing too. He ends up getting pushed up in the wall. He doesn't even, I don't think, finish 3rd or 4th because he got pushed in the wall. But the idea of it was, great like race, great idea of, if you know enough about NASCAR, how like teammates work and whatnot, and then great idea of he went for it.
That's awesome.
And you know, Cindric actually being the rookie to hold him off, or even hold off Bubba Wallace, which was,
shout out Bubba.
We just talked about Michael Jordan earlier. That is such a great story to me.
Awesome.
Man, my bet last week, Eric Jones, I would have had him. He was in it. He was in the top 5 with 5 laps to go, and a wreck. And not even his fault. He was trying to avoid the wreck, but you know, I mean, NASCAR, you know, whatever. But I was that close. Like, I was like, man, feeling real good about it all.
It's racing, baby.
But the thing about Austin Cindric, the last thing I want to say before I move on to this week, what impressed me the most, his average position of the race, his first ever Daytona 500, he's in his main car, was 6th. He averaged 6th position throughout the whole entire 200 laps. That is absolutely incredible, especially for a rookie. So shout out to him again. And to say Trevor Bayne also, you know, proves that it doesn't mean a whole lot. Like, the rest of his career could still be nothing, but this, you'll always have that one. And two, I would say if you're going to start off a great career, that's a great way to do it. But this week is the Auto Club 400. It's in Fontana, out in California, San Bernardino, California. Alex Bowman won it last year, which, shout out to my son Blaze, his favorite driver apparently. So this week, my parents went out and got him a bunch of little die casts, because I always had all the little die casts. And so I always show him, like, he has a Dale Earnhardt car, he has a Dale Earnhardt Jr. car, and he has a Chase Elliott, who is my favorite driver. He has a ton of other ones, but I always show them they're my favorite. And so we're sitting there, and before the race, I was, you know, asking him, and I was like, well, like, who you rooting for? And he picked that one. Like, a couple hours later, I tested him, still his guy. A couple days later, still his guy. So Alex Bowman, I guess, is now my son's favorite driver, which I discovered this weekend.
That's awesome.
I always find this to be interesting. The track was built in 1997. Jeff Gordon has 3 wins on it. I know he raced for a good while after 97, but like, most of his winning was done right around that point. So the fact that track was like built, and a lot of his wins were mainly done before that, but he's still one of the most winningest drivers on there, and I'm pretty sure he's from California. It's pretty cool. Jimmy Johnson and Matt Kenseth of Kyle Busch also have 3.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which Kyle Busch still racing, so maybe he breaks and gets 4. It is a 2-mile track, 300 laps. Stages will be breaking down 1 and 2 into 60, and then the final one's 80. Larson, per usual, is the favorite, plus 400. We'll go into the betting side. I'll do the same thing I did last week because I loved it. I'm taking Brad K to win, okay, plus 2,000. And then I don't love the idea of a driver back-to-back in the top 5 because Bubba just finished in the top 5. But Bubba at 2,200 plus 2,200, I can't pass that up. Bubba in the top 5.
I think that'll be I think I'm gonna ride with you.
Those are my flyers.
Team ride on Bubba, the top 5.
And the thing with me with Brad K, I like the value at 2,000 because his car consistently has been like, I know it was only 1 week, but like his whole team's like the Roush Fenway, because obviously the whole team, they were running really well. So I really think that he has an opportunity as